All right, it's 7:02. I'd like to call our meeting to order. Present is myself, Stacy Bauer is here, Wendy Bailey, Robert Ferguson, Patrick Shrine, and Tracy Hunter. We do have a quorum, and it is 7:02. First, we want to do any public comments. Do we have any public comments from anybody? All right, before we get to you, I would like to welcome our two newest board members. Welcome to the team. And we got Robert Ferguson, correct?
I was here before, but
Oh, but then who's,
Stephanie Presley.
Stephanie's new. I'm sorry, Robert, you were here before. Stephanie's new, but she's not here. And I knew she wouldn't be here, my bad. But you're new,
I am.
so Stacy can be welcome to the team, and I know Stacy from football, so Stacy is, she's gonna be a great, member to the board addition. Normally, I said this, and I remember your first meeting, I say what I said last time to everybody that's on the board. I've been doing this for a long time, and, we are an advisory committee for the Parks and Rec Department. We take input from citizens that might come up. We look at projects, we advise, we help advise. However, this team that you see in front of you, which makes up Park and Rec Department, they don't work for us. They work for the town manager. So I just want to make sure we all know that as we deal with these guys, we can give input, but obviously they have a boss. And so far, we work really well together, and it's been great, and I just want to make sure we all know that. Fair enough? All right, let's get started.
Stop being bossy. Sorry.
What?
Stop being bossy.
You were being very bossy. This is actually pointed to you, but I didn't want to use names. All right, Tony, go ahead with introducing your team.
Good evening. Thank you, Dean, for that introduction. Stacy, congratulations. We look forward to working with you. And Miss Stephanie Presley's out of town at the moment.
We knew she wouldn't be.
Yeah, she's at doing her job out of town, out of the country, actually. I do want to introduce our new staff. We have some new members. First, I'd like to welcome you guys back. I haven't seen you guys in a pretty long time. I think our last meeting was in April, so thank you all very much for responding to my emails, going to events. I still have seen you guys around, so I really, really do appreciate you guys. I appreciate the hours that you invest into our department as well, and to our community, more importantly, right? So thank you so much for everything you guys do. I do want to introduce Ms. Cassidy Hill. She is over to my left. She's our event and recreation coordinator. Just to give you a little bit of a background on Cassidy, she graduated from UNT in 2019 with a hospitality management degree. She worked at the country club. You might recognize her, maybe. She looks familiar. She worked there for 5 years as their event manager. And then she went over to the city of Denton as the special event coordinator before we kind of stole her from Denton. So she lives at home with her boyfriend Omar and her two dogs, Ranger and Roxy, which Roxy she did rescue from here from the Trophy Club. So we're happy to have Cassidy on board. She's done a phenomenal job with all of our events, and she's a fantastic asset to our team. So, and then we have Daniel Wilson. Again, you may recognize Daniel. Daniel worked at our community pool since 2017. He started as cashier there. He went to Texas Tech in 2021. He's going to pursue a Parks and Recreation degree at UNT shortly, here in the near future. And he actually grew up in Trophy Club as well and graduated from Byron Nelson High School. And then we have, lastly, our Mr. Tim Reddy. He's our Aquatics and Recreation Coordinator. He's actually from Colorado, Aspen, Colorado, born and raised. He attended Purdue and obtained his master's in business administration. He has 14 years of aquatics experience. He worked for the city of Thornton Parks and Recreation Department for several years as their pool manager. He is married to his beautiful wife, Jamie, for 7 years, and they have a beautiful little son of 18 months, Riker. So we welcome Tim as well to our team. The three individuals that I just named are phenomenal assets to our team and only builds our team a little bit stronger, in addition to Sumner, of course. And it's just a phenomenal team that we have all going right now at the moment. So I couldn't be happier with what we've got going, and I can't be any more eager to see what they have planned for us in the future. Yes, sir.
So, I was at Pet Fest a few weeks ago. I had a chance to meet, Al Sumner and his team was out there. And I know Cassie was your first time doing the Pet Fest. And I've watched that event for the last, what's it been, around 8 years now? I think we've been doing it out there. And that might be the best Pet Fest that we've ever done. There were so many people out there. There were a lot of vendors there. Everybody was happy. It's exciting. I thought it was an extremely well-done event. And you guys had you had a whole bunch of people. It's an army of you guys out there setting it up and taking it down. And I don't know that the town always appreciates all the hard work that goes in to put those events together. I think we just take it for granted. And Sumner, your guys did a great job out there. I really appreciate it.
I agree 100%. And to give you even more perspective, I have never taken off the day prior to an event. And I was able to take that Friday off, and I might have cringed a few times at home or, had trouble breathing, but I had to trust my team, and that I did, and they delivered, and then some. They did a phenomenal job at Pet Fest. They really did. So I'm really thankful for that. So thank you very much for those kind words.
I'd like to add to that also, Cassidy, you did a fantastic job. Everything that you organized, created, pulled together for the community, it was, I agree, the best Pet Fest that I have attended. I know my fur baby had a great time, but the entire staff, y'all did great. I mean, there was, the flow was excellent, the setup was excellent. Whoever chose the two DJs, they were hysterical. But y'all did a great job, and I just want to say thank you, and can't wait for the next Pet Fest or your next event that you're going to create for us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Also, pass on to the chief. PD did a great job out there.
Absolutely.
Roseanne, moving all those cars and parking everybody. There were cars everywhere.
Yep.
Great.
And not one crash, so it was awesome.
Yeah, I'd also like to commend the Parks and Rec. First of all, I didn't even know where the place was. How bad is that? I've been here 9 years. I don't have a pet, so maybe that's why. I used to live out there. And second of all, Tony and I were talking, I said, Tony, the dog just pooped over there, and he's like, oh, God. So he went over, picked up the poop, so he was hands-on, so thank you. So it was a great event, beautiful day too, I mean, you couldn't
Perfect
beat the
day.
weather, yeah. So, but I think it's also a good opportunity to get more vendors involved, because it is a very large facility, so, maybe next year get more people, just not necessarily related to pet services, but just other vendors, especially in Trophy Club, that want to, showcase their business, so.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I've had a chance to look at lots of dog parks, and I think ours stands up to almost every dog park in the area. I mean, seriously, we have a great dog park, so. And it's amazing how well the people that take their dogs and take care of the park, they do a good job. They self-police themselves out there. So
They do.
that's
They really do. Thank you. So move on to item 2, Dean, with our recognition of Mr. Tom Bath and Steve Babineau. I know they're not here, but I do want to thank them publicly for their service to the Parks and Recreation Board. They did invest in numerous, multiple hours and daily, and then they are attending our meetings and whatnot. So, and I did speak to them over the phone every once in a while. So they did invest a lot of their time into our Parks and Rec department, along with some volunteer hours through Sumner and Trophy Club Park, as well as far as cleaning up and volunteering there. So they did a good job and fantastic job. So I'm really grateful for that.
And in the past, Tom Bath was instrumental in putting together the hiking trails and all the little
Yes.
signs and stuff that went out there. He spent countless hours as a park board member doing all that.
correct.
So, yeah, definitely shout out to those guys.
Absolutely. And congratulations to you, Dean and Bob, for your reappointment into the Parks and Recreation Board as well. So thank you guys for reapplying and being a part of the team as well. So thank you both very much. Okay. And our next item for announcements and reports is going to be our parks projects. I only have a few. Met with Jorge this week, and we talked a little bit about what's coming up. As you can see on your screen, top left picture, that's a picture of Harmony Park's large playground, and it's still missing the shade structure. That is going to council this next week for final approval. Once that is approved, we'll put in the order for that shade structure to be replaced. The reason for the picture on the bottom right of that tree, as you can see that trail that wraps around Harmony Park. There were 4 tripping hazards around the park itself on that trail, and the Parks Department did a phenomenal job repairing those pictures, or I'm sorry, that trail as well. So, wanted to show you that.
Thank goodness, I went down 2 months ago.
Did you? Oh man, I wish you would have called me soon. I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. And then the picture up at the top there, that's a picture of what's a beautiful picture of Trophy Club Drive near Municipal median. Our seasonal color is being ordered as we speak, so the Parks Department is going to be doing that in about 2 weeks or so, depending on rain as well. So you'll see fresh new color in all the medians in about 2 to 3 weeks. And then we added our October, we're spreading awareness for cancer. You'll see those stencils, those pink ribbons on all our baseball fields as well. So the guys are doing a good job with spreading awareness there too. That concludes our announcements and reports. I'm open for any questions if there are any. Okay?
So Tony, I have some,
Yes, sir.
I have some just notes that I've been keeping on various things for a while. I don't know the most appropriate time to do it. I was
Sure.
going to jump in as we were talking about different things, but I don't know if now would be a time to do that. And none of it's real serious. It's just suggestions that
Sure.
over the time
Absolutely.
we hadn't met, or observations. Regarding Pet Fest, I echo everyone's sentiments up here for sure. It was a well-oiled machine. It was awesome. Lots of really, really good feedback at the tent. One individual, and you know, you never know if it's a comment from one person or if they are actually getting feedback from lots of people. She claimed that she had talked to lots of residents, but there was a suggestion on keeping an area where dogs could run around without leashes. So
Yeah.
I don't know that I have an opinion on that. I just committed to her that, yeah, I'll pass that along. So it sounds like y'all heard of that, so no issue there. There's the pool thing. I didn't hear much about that. I don't know if we weren't gonna talk about that tonight. Maybe we can, next meeting or something, we could talk about, you know, the pool closure and what's going on for next year and
Sure.
that sort of thing. One thing that's been on my mind since 4th of July, and I know a lot of us observed this, Tony Sumner, y'all's team, there's like a 2 or 3 month period there, late spring, where y'all are just have a lot going on all at once, and everybody's stretched really thin. There's just a ton of events that require a lot of attention, a lot of planning, a lot of team effort. I just want to say, offer for next year, you know, if there's a way we can be a force multiplier for help, let us know, or if we can work together on an approach to where we can plan stuff a little further ahead, or if we can help with manpower or whatever. I just want to offer that.
Okay.
I know that's a really busy time.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
We'll keep that in mind for sure.
absolutely. And then the last thing, and sorry, they're kind of disjointed. There's just notes from residents or people over time that I promised them I would pass along. There was a request for the park, for Trophy Club Park, making like an unlimited access option to buy. A few folks have told me now that they would pay significantly more if there was an option where they could come and go. Because some folks that live close by, you know, they'd have a kayak or something, and they want to go home and eat or let their dog out or whatever and come in, and they can't get back in or whatever. So just wanted to pass that along. I'm sure it's been brought up before, but I promised that individual I would mention it. So
Okay. Thank you.
that
Can
was all
I-
I had.
Can I make a comment to one of Patrick's comments, please? Regarding Pet Fest and, you know, a citizen stating a certain area for dogs to be off their leash. I have an opinion. Because there's a lot of activity, kids are running around, and I did see the one dog that got loose out of its collar, which was quite comical, actually. Good dog, thank goodness. But just for the safety of the visitors to Pet Fest, I believe it's important to keep the pets on their leash, in a nutshell.
Well, we do have an off-leash
We do.
opportunity for dogs, and it's at that dog park, so they can go there with their dogs if they want a
It's
dog
after
leash.
the Pet Fest. It's
After?
after the Pet Fest.
Yes.
I think for the
During Pet Fest.
What is it, 3 hours long, 4 hours maybe?
Just two.
Oh, that's it, 2 hours
9 to
long.
11.
I'm pretty sure we can leash up our pets for 2 hours. Okay, so the Pet Fest ended, and it wasn't 20 minutes when that park was back in business. So honestly, you guys, it wasn't like the park was down all day, and we could address that later probably but I don't know that was a huge, that's one person, I don't know
That was one
that.
person. Yeah, so
I
I
think
told them I'd pass it along.
You want more vendors and stuff, there's no way you're gonna be able to block off an area. And then dogs getting out because somebody walked through a gate and left it open that doesn't understand how the dog park works, it'd be worse than.
Right.
Well, I mean, not every dog that comes there is gonna be acclimated to, you know, off-leash dog etiquette. What if it's their first time or whatever? What if their dog's not really friendly and they don't know it yet? I mean, that's too much of a liability.
I think you guys did the way it should be done.
Yeah.
No, I-
Yeah,
Totally.
y'all did great.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Thank you. So those points that you pointed out about the Pet Fest were talked about at our after-action meeting. Cassidy scheduled out a meeting with our staff, including Jorge, who's not here tonight, our park superintendent, which, by the way, they don't get enough credit also. They also were out there and did all
They
the
did
setup
great.
and the takedown and whatnot. So, but anyway, that was brought up to our attention as well. And so one of the things we discussed, maybe putting 2 volunteers out there, reminding folks to keep their dogs on a leash, especially way in the back, right, or where you guys saw them the most. So, but yeah, you're right. We can't block off an area like that. What's going to happen is, you know, people jump the fence or move it or, you know, so. The pool closure, we are addressing that situation. We have addressed it, actually. We implemented an increase in our salary line for all of our pool staff, seasonal staff, for next year. So, and, you know, some other incentives, too, that we are thinking about for them as well. So we want to keep our staff. We want to gain our staff. You know, we want to make sure that our pool season's open in its entirety. So we're working on that as hard as we can. And what better person to ask also to the person over to my left, that he's the one that probably hears a lot of the asks, right, and then the wants. So we're working on that as well. So and then I'll meet with Sumner and talk about the come and go access to Trophy Club Park. We tried that one year and it made it really difficult on us with sharing cards, right? So we'll see if we can get a little bit strategic there and see what we can come up with, because I understand the question too and the request. So did I address those for you, Patrick?
Absolutely, Tony, yeah, and no problem. I just wanted to share
you.
the notes that I take over time and talk with residents and
Appreciate it. Thank you.
pass that along.
Hey, Tony, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Back to the pool. You said you increased the pay. Is the increase in pay equitable to neighboring communities?
That's correct. Our previous HR director did a salary study with our surrounding cities, and so we made sure that we're compatible with them. Yes, ma'am.
We good? right, so at this time, we need to move the meeting to regular session, correct?
Well, no, we've got a recreation update from
Oh, I
Cassidy
missed
and
that.
Daniel. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go for it. Let's do the recreation.
Okay, hi everyone. First of all, thank you so much for all the kind words about Pet Fest. I really appreciate it, and I do have a great team with all these people and Jorge and his team, and I couldn't do it without him. I'm very grateful, so thanks again for that. Okay, so first we will talk about Fright Lights. So Fright Lights has already started. The registration opened on October 1st, and it's going to end tomorrow night, actually. And we already have 18 houses participating so far, which is pretty average for how many houses we would have participating each year. We will do the judging on Wednesday evening. We're normally done around 10, but we anticipate finishing a little earlier because we have the help from some great volunteers. And we'll be able to split into groups and hopefully tackle that a little quicker than normal. There are 6 categories, and each winner will receive the yard sign, which is something we do every year. But this year we wanted to make it a little bit more fun, and so we got some donated Halloween-themed popcorn from Popcorn Central. We'll be able to leave that on the winner's doorsteps. Just another fun little addition. We also have the Holiday Lights competition coming up. Registration for that will start on November 21st. It'll run through December 13th. We'll do the judging on Wednesday, December 14th. It'll be pretty much the same as Fright Lights unless there's any challenges that come up that lets me know that we need to adjust something. There's usually slightly more participants for Holiday Lights than Fright Lights, but not by a whole lot. Any questions on those? All right. And then we have Gingerbread House decorating. The registration for that will open on November 1st for Trophy Club residents and November 8th for non-residents. There's going to be 2 different sessions on the same day, which is Saturday, December 3rd from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., and then another one at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. 6 families can register per session. It'll be held at the fire station like it has in past years because the firefighters enjoy this event just as much as we do. And next we have Christmas in the Park. That is going to be on Saturday, December 10th from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. That's free. If you're unfamiliar with the event, it takes place at Independence Park East. It includes pictures with Santa, performances by Beck and Lakeview Elementary School choirs, a reading of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas by the mayor. Trophy Club churches will be our vendors. There's going to be great giveaways, free hot chocolate, coffee, apple cider, free funnel cakes, a DJ, face painting, and more. So that should be a fun one too. We have another program called Letters to Santa, where families of Trophy Club can write letters to Santa and drop them off in the Christmas mailbox that will be outside of Town Hall between November 25th and December 12th. On December 12th, the cutoff will be at 5 p.m. at the end of the day. These letters are all going to be customized and replied to individually with the help of volunteers, who we greatly appreciate because we get about 300 of those letters. Any questions about those ones? Okay. So now I would like to talk about the event sponsorship program that me and Daniel have been working on for the last couple of weeks. Currently, we only have sponsorship opportunities at the 4th of July. So this is some statistics from this past 4th of July. But we wanted to start a sponsorship program for more events than just the 4th of July. So we selected 6 other Trophy Club community events that would work and put together a whole sponsorship program that I would like to share with you. So as you can see, we had 12 sponsors this past year, and we got about $12,000 in sponsorships. From that, that local businesses contributed. If we could get close to this number on other events, it would show how valued these events are by the residents of Trophy Club and surrounding cities, local businesses, and other potential sponsors. Okay. We do this because we want to help local businesses, and the best way for us as the events team to support them is to provide them with a way to get in front of their community, whether it be physically or digitally. Once they go to our website and are ready to be a Town or Trophy Club event sponsor, they would complete essentially these 3 steps here on the left. First, they would pick the event or events that they want to sponsor, and then they would decide at what level they want to sponsor. And then they would finish the quick and easy forms that Daniel has created online and submit their preferred method of payment, and then just communicate with us a little bit and respond if we need to reach out for anything, but for the most part, we would take care of the rest. The rest being what is included in these 3 tiers of sponsorships, which I will explain. So if you wanted to be the preferred sponsor, you would get a yard sign with your logo. You would get mentioned on our website and Facebook event page. You would also get a small logo on all of our event maps and handouts. And if you go up to the premier level, you would get all of those. Your logo would be just a little bit bigger on those maps and handouts. And you would also have the option to have a 10 by 10 space at an event, as well as getting mentioned in a social media post. And then for the presenting sponsors, once again, that logo would get just a little bit bigger. Everything else that's included in the first 2, as well as your logo on an event banner, which is much bigger. We would also verbally recognize that sponsorship. During the event, maybe the DJ makes an announcement or one of us gets up and recognizes that during the event. You would also get a dedicated social media post, which is, it would be just your company. You're not sharing it with other information or other businesses. So that could be a good perk for some people. But I wanted to point out that the premier and presenting level have the option to have that 10 by 10 space at an event, which means that they have the option to be a vendor as well as a sponsor. And being a vendor requires another set of policies and agreements that would need to be completed in order, or in addition to what they would need to be agreeing to as a sponsor. There will be some people that choose not to utilize that event space, but we'll touch on that again in the next slide a little bit. And yeah, I just wanted to make an announcement to let you all know that we love when Parks Board members volunteer. So if you're interested in doing so at any of those events I talked about, I know you already mentioned that, Patrick. So please reach out to me. I believe there's a business card at your seats, or maybe not. There's some in the back. I know that for sure. So grab that for any time you need to contact me. And that concludes my portion. And I'm going to turn it over to Daniel to give you a little bit more information about the sponsorships. But do you guys have any questions for me? Okay, go ahead, Daniel.
Thank you, Cassidy.
All righty, well, hello. Bring that up a little bit. Yeah, so I was going to talk about a little bit more of the nitty-gritty of our sponsorship program, as well as talk about what's sitting in front of you. So the cost of these sponsorship programs, I'll go to our next slide here. We have it laid out for you. Try to make this chart as easy as we could. The cost of these sponsorships is based on the attendance of our events, our expected attendance, as well as the visibility these events get on our marketing side. So we looked at it through the eyes of our vendors and what they would be gaining through it to price these accurately. As you can see, the ones in the kind of darker shade are priced a little bit more economically, just because we believe those events are either our smaller ones or get less media attention than the ones that are more lightly colored in the background. Those are our larger events that we put on that we would really love, would be a real advantage for our vendors to come out and promote themselves through. As you can see, sorry, I have a bit of a script. Before I explain how one can become a sponsor or a vendor, I also want to clarify that if you see on our table, the last column there is our vendor application. So we do still accept vendors. The difference between sponsors and vendors, sponsors is you pay for that and we actively promote you. Vendor is simply you get to show up. So at our Pet Fest, all of those there were vendors. So we do still offer our vendor opportunity at 3 of our events, the Taste of Trophy Club, 4th of July, and Pet Fest. That's what we've offered them to in the past. However, as part of our sponsorship program, you can become a vendor for just about any of our events. In those, the premiere and the presenting categories, you get that 10 by 10 booth space, which would officially add you as a vendor to each event.
There are caps that we have placed on these as well. So just so that we don't have a million different vendors applying in each event, we don't have to go through a list of a million vendors to read off. For the higher priced ones, we have capped it at 12 per the preferred, 6 for the premier, and 2 for the presenting. For the darker colored ones, it's just 10 for preferred, 5 per premier, and 2 for presenting. That's just to limit, like I said, the number of the people who we are publicly acknowledging and making sure we don't have a flood of people we have to recognize. We have chosen the prices for these looking at different cities around us. Grapevine, one of them, Roanoke, another. Just looking at them and comparing their prices that they offer for their sponsorships, as well as their media exposure and event attendance, and comparing it to ours and pricing those sponsorships accordingly. They also take into consideration the cost of labor and supplies. With each of these sponsorships, they get a yard sign that'll go in the lawn, of all of our events. So we've acquired that into the cost as well as our admin and man hours on our end, setting things up for them. As far as getting this information out to the public, Cassie and I are going to spend an afternoon driving around to local businesses to introduce ourselves and hand out a couple of items, one of which is sitting in front of you. That trifold there contains just a brief information on our sponsorship program, including the table you saw earlier, as well as the benefits of being a sponsor. Also included with going out there, we're going to include our business cards so they can contact us if they have any questions. And of course, we also just want to get to know our Trophy Club businesses face to face and introduce ourselves and make sure that they know we're here for them and we want to promote them as best as we can. So with that in the little trifold, if you haven't already looked at it, there's a little QR code on the inside of that. That's for our businesses to scan and it'll take them to our website. So we have put together a special website, oh gosh. That I'm actually going to exit out of this presentation real quick and go to.
So real quick, are you handing these out to the business owners when you go to introduce yourself?
Yes. So that, as well as our Cassie and I business cards, just so they can contact us if they have any questions or want to go further with that. Alrighty. So on our website, we've made it super easy. We kind of tried to think of it through the eyes of the vendors coming on here to encourage them to sign up, but not discourage them because it's just too much to throw at them at one time. So I totally understand that. So on their website, they get a digital magazine here. We put a lot of work into creating this that they can scroll through. You also have it at the table with you. This is just an additional resource for them to see each event, event by event, giving them the details of it as well as what comes with their sponsorship. So we've allowed them to go through this. It's a little interactive, a little fun there.
So Daniel, real quick, question for you. It looks like the categories for 4th of July are labeled differently. I assume they parallel the normal categories. They just have special names.
Yes. So on the presentation from earlier, they are going to mimic our 4th of July sponsorship from last year. So the 4th of July is a bit of a special case. It's not going to follow those 3 sponsorship categories that we had laid out for the rest of them. It has its own 4. So it's essentially the same with an additional $10,000 title sponsorship. That's the only change to that one. I apologize for not making that clear. So once they're on our sponsorship page, they're able to flip through the digital magazine. This is also where you can find the links to all the necessary forms to do this. And again, we've tried to make it as Daniel-proof as possible with a big red button. The big red button is going to take you to our sponsorship form. Again, it's just super quick and super easy to fill out. Just a little bit of information as well as selecting the sponsorships you would like to, or the events you would like to sponsor. Additionally, on this page, we have our vendor application for those who just wish to be a vendor and just show up to our events to sell food and promote their businesses at those 3 events that we do allow that. Additionally, on that form on this page is where you can find our sponsorship and vendor policies, which is just a long list of legal details that they have to meet that we would like them to uphold the standard of our events. And that is about it. We also like to thank all the departments we worked with in creating this program, the fire department, permitting, the town attorney, finance department, And of course, who can forget our very own Tony Harmila, the Director of Parks and Recreation, for all of his support and help as Cassie and I have taken this on. It is both of ours first project, real big project here in the town, and so learning opportunity for us both, and we can't appreciate him enough for that. I know that was a lot to throw at you guys all at once. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Buddy, who created this?
That would be me.
That's where I was.
Very nice.
I wanted to make a comment. It's very clean.
Yeah, I know.
And even looking on the website, it's very clean and crisp. It's very appealing to the eyes. The font is great. I love what you created here. This is excellent.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
But I do have a question. When, say, someone comes, I want to sponsor, yay. Where are they going to find the different, and I was just scrolling through here, the different levels and the pricing? How easy is it for them to find on the website?
Yeah, absolutely. So when they come onto the website, they have that same magazine there that they can flip through and find the specific event. As you can see, it has it listed on there as well.
I wasn't reading.
You're
right,
all
Thank you
good.
so much. I was looking at,
Additionally-
I was just like, this is so clean. It looks great.
Additionally, when they go to that form to select what they would like to sponsor, where they're selecting what level, it has the price listed there as well for them.
Are they able to pick more than one?
They can do as many as they would like, and it'll all, in a perfect world? Yes, it did. Okay. It should all show up on the website that they're able to select at what level they want to sponsor. So trying to make less hassle on them as much as possible.
Are you gonna put any, are you gonna make an announcement on social media? Because there are a lot of people that live in this town that own businesses that aren't really brick and mortar. Like for me, for example, we own a business, but there's no office. It's my house. So, you know, if I were just sitting at home and see it on Facebook and I'm like, oh, I wanna sponsor, but, I mean, I see it because I'm here, but if I wasn't, you know, there's probably a lot of people that would want to sponsor that maybe wouldn't see it if they didn't find it on social media or something like that.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point. We will definitely work with Jill, our marketing communications here, and work on putting it out on social media so that companies that aren't brick and mortar also have access to that and know that we're here for them.
So ideally, we're looking for businesses that are in Trophy Club, correct? Not Roanoke.
Hey, we'll take their money wherever they're from. Shush.
No, I'm asking. Is this open to
just saying.
businesses in an area, or are we talking about Trophy Club?
It is open to the businesses in the area, not just exclusively Trophy Club. When Cassie and I go out, we will just be going to the businesses in Trophy Club for the sake of our minds. However, if a company in Roanoke wants to come in and donate their money to our sponsorship program, wants to be at an event, where we just tell them no.
All right, well, just want to clarify that, because there's a lot of businesses that they live here, but their business isn't actually here.
Mine is.
See? You're everywhere, though.
Are there any other questions?
It's great. Thank you. It looks awesome.
Does look great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
You did a great job.
If anything skips your mind, you remember it later, feel free to just reach out to me.
I do have a question. It's probably more for Sumner and Tony. I think the Torn race is happening, right, early December? Looks like it's on the schedule. That's not considered a Parks and Rec event, right? That's kind of a separate thing. Okay.
Yes.
Even though it's in a park, it's not really a Parks and Rec sponsored event. Okay.
Yeah, they're essentially running the event in our park. Torn Racing's gonna be controlling all of the operations for that whole weekend.
Okay. All right. Yeah, as that approaches, it'd be cool to get some, kind of some social media posts or announcements or whatever from the park, because I know a lot of people would like to go just watch that. It's a really fun spectator thing, especially if you got little kids or whatever to go watch dirt bikes racing. Just a mention there. But thank you, Dan.
Absolutely.
Good evening, everyone. I will be brief on my updates. The majority of our rec updates were wonderful on our sponsorship upcoming sponsorship plans and just events that we've got going on that Cassidy's taken lead in. I wanted to share that we have a new program that we started in October called Fitness in the Park. Now we're trying some different fitness exercise styles and to attract different people and see if we can build a little bit more of a group fitness community within the area. So these classes are on Wednesdays at 9 a.m. at Harmony Park in the pavilion area. We have Pilates this Wednesday. And then next Wednesday, we have HIIT training, which is high intensity. It's between cardio and strength exercises. These classes are for people of all levels and abilities. Our instructor is able to make adjustments per people's skill level and ability, so anybody can join and participate in that. This upcoming weekend, we have a volunteer day here at Trophy Club Park. We're going to be partnering with Keep Texas Beautiful in an effort to pick up trash. We're actually going to be weighing one of our dumpsters to just see the amount that we get picked up, and we can add that into Keep Texas Beautiful for them to record in their efforts. That will be this Saturday. We will be meeting at the pavilion near the entrance of Trophy Club Park at 9 a.m. and dispersing into all the recreational side of Trophy Club Park, which includes our motocross tracks and trails, disc golf course, and our hiking areas and our mountain biking areas as well. And then last but not least, we have our Trophy Club Park passes. The weather's cooling down. We're seeing more and more people come to the park. So just a reminder, we have a 10-punch boat pass for all of our duck hunters coming up, trying to save a couple dollars coming into our boat ramp in the early mornings. Of course, we have our 10-punch ATV motocross pass that's been popularly used. And then we have our annual passes for general entry, grants you one entry into the park per day, and that's good for 1 full year. So if anyone is interested in getting one, they can register online through our website. They can pick up the card here in Town Hall during our regular business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, or over the weekend at our front guardhouse. We have attendance there on Friday from noon until 7 p.m., and then Saturday and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. For that. So that's all of my updates. Do we have any questions?
Yeah. Is the fitness in the park free to the community?
Yes, these next two classes are going to be free. We're going to be reevaluating for November and seeing about making some adjustments for that moving forward. But we're having them free to start just so we can build a little bit more of a following and kind of gather what the wants and needs are from the community for these classes.
Is the town paying the instructor?
Yes.
If it is successful, will they be adding more opportunities for classes? Because one time a week.
Of course.
I'm going to get you there.
Yeah, that would be the plan. If there's a demand that's built, we would be able to consider adding more and building from there.
Okay, good deal.
You know, we don't get a lot of opportunities to thank the guards at the gate, but those guys do an awesome job. I've been around there, you know, they get met with all types of people and a varying range of moods. You know, especially if they got to turn people away if stuff's closed or whatever. It's not an easy job, and they do an awesome job.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I'm very proud of Roy Morgan and James Thomas. They're great gate attendants. They've been with Trophy Club on our Parks and Rec department for a very long time, so very thankful for them.
I have something. It's regarding the duck hunt. Are they killing the ducks?
We do allow
What is that?
hunting.
I'm like having an
We
issue
do allow
at the moment.
hunting access within Trophy Club Park, but all those who are hunting are required to be 500 feet from the shoreline of Trophy Club Park. So they merely use our boat ramp as access to get to different hunting areas for hunting ducks.
And where
Yes,
are
ma'am.
these hunting areas?
Yeah, where are these hunting?
We're
areas?
asking for different reasons.
At least
so-
500 feet from the shoreline.
My kid wants to go hunting.
So that's
You have to
the
have a boat.
requirement. You take a boat out there 500 feet from the shoreline.
There's that many ducks out there?
Oh, yeah.
There's a decent amount of people who come out there to hunt. Yes,
And
ma'am.
And I believe this is correct, but I believe waterfowl or ducks is the only type of hunting that's allowed in Trophy Club Park, right?
That is correct, yes.
No deer, hogs, or anything like
deer,
that?
no.
Just ducks.
Okay.
We'll email you a map of the areas that are shade color coordinated. I'll give that to Summer tomorrow morning so you can send that out to the group, so.
I'm not doing it.
That way you know exactly where those boundaries are at as well, and don't get into any trouble, so. So,
Don't bring one to Pet Fest.
No. Oh, man. Don't call London.
yeah, and just to clarify something to Wendy's point earlier, or I believe it was Tracy, Tim is actually spearheading the fitness program at Harmony Park.
Yes.
And he did mention this morning, he had some great ideas because of the lack of attendance. So he's got a basket full of awesome ideas to improve this program moving forward. So can't wait for him to implement all those great ideas. He did talk about going twice a week because Wednesdays just once a week, maybe a combination of both. It's not working out. It's a lot of conflict of people's schedules and work, and so he's thinking about doing 2 days a week and also targeting a specific audience as well, right? So maybe seniors versus some other folks out there as well. So
That would be really good,
have
because
a-
you know they're
So-
always wanting stuff for the seniors.
I have
exactly.
a
Yes.
suggestion on that attendance issue.
Yes, ma'am.
Harmony Park is a drive. Unless you live over there, you're fine. But if you don't, it's 20 minutes.
Yeah, he also mentioned that too.
So
Actually, is having
your
that Trophy
attendance
Club
issue
Park.
may not necessarily be because of
Yeah.
the fitness, it's just getting there. So is it a
Yeah.
possibility that you could have a class on this side of town? Maybe
Can we do it at the
At
baseball parking lot?
Independence or
Baseball
something
fields
like
parking
that.
lot? Or even, there's even a grassy
What
area.
about
Yeah,
the-
we can,
what about
we
the
can
Baptist
consider any of
church?
our parks.
Multiple
We have our Independence Parks. We also have Trophy Club Parks Pavilion area, which we can hold these classes as well.
Especially if you're wanting to get the elder community,
Mm-hmm.
they want to be close to home. They're not going to drive
Yeah,
20-something minutes all the way to the back
Yeah.
of Harmony.
of course.
Just a thought.
I was thinking Trophy Club Park.
Possibly.
That's the same thing. I'd say do it at the baseball fields. That's kind
You
of,
have a central location that most people in this
Yeah.
town know and can get to. Harmony is just a beating to get to. It's not fun. I mean, until they connect those roads in the back, not gonna happen.
unless you do it during soccer practice.
Yeah.
Where they can kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
And then.
You have a
got
class
deal.
while your kid has soccer? Perfect. But Independence might
really
be,
good
like a
idea.
multi-use
I
field
know.
could be a better option as
We
well.
used to
because
walk while our
you
kids
would
were
get
practicing. 'cause-
more of that centralized people. You also have the perspective. People are driving by and seeing it, which would give you more access. People are looking, they're talking, hey, what's going on, versus not many people are gonna be driving by Harmony. And if you're in the back, you can't see what's happening.
Yeah, I think we have already accomplished, I mean, we get the Harmony location's not gonna work out, but, we're gonna meet this week and come up with an idea as far as where the location best suits. You know, we have to think about the program as well, right? Because if you got yoga and you got people driving back and forth, you don't wanna hear a bunch of traffic going back and forth, right? So there's that aspect. But we'll see. Tim's got some good ideas, so we'll move along, and if his ideas don't work, I'm sure he's got a couple up his sleeve that we'll keep trying moving forward, so.
I think Stacy volunteered her backyard for this.
Let's go.
You live central.
Yeah, let's go.
So, but no, I appreciate the input.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Sumner.
Now, we can move to regular session. Sorry, thank you. Now we can move to regular session. Before we begin, though, I want to say something about the meetings, because it was brought to my attention a few times, how often we have meetings. Tony and I talk all the time about what's going on in the town and parks. And there's been a number of occasions the last few years, especially during COVID, where there was literally nothing on the agenda. And at the end of the day, the town is still a business. We're all up here for the big paychecks we get. But all these guys gotta come in on their time off, and the city has to pay them to be here. They don't just come here because they have nothing else to do. So it didn't make sense to bring all the town staff here just to go to have the meeting. Literally, I've been in and out of here in about 10 minutes. And yet everybody had to come work and be ready for the meeting. So I think as we move along and we have things to talk about, meaningful things to take action on, and a lot of that is probably brought forth by this team, right? You find stuff and we can put it on the agenda and we can talk about it. As long as we have stuff to talk about, let's get together and do it. But I think we should all agree that if we have nothing to talk about, then we shouldn't waste the taxpayers' dollars by coming here, right?
I agree.
Agreed, Dean.
All right. So with that being said, we did have a meeting in April, and I need a motion. Does everybody have a chance to look at that meeting's minutes?
I think I showed up for 2 in between. You're welcome.
And, Sonia, I need someone to motion to approve the minutes. Anybody have a motion? All right. Stacy motions. Anybody second?
I'll second.
Robert seconds it. He beat you. He beat you. All in
Sorry.
favor of approval?
I'm
All
not
right,
worried
so
about
moved.
ducks.
All right, so here's a really important agenda item. Like all things, I don't know how many have been in the military, but the captain of the ship gets all the glory, he's the captain, but the one doing all the work is the executive officer. And a lot of times this park board's kind of the same thing. It's the vice chair who's out there active doing stuff and helps out the chair. And it's a very important position, and there's a lot to do, lots of times. And I think at this time, we need to do a motion. Well, first of all, I need to find out everybody's interest and then do a motion. Do we have any interest in being a vice chair? Stacy has interest. Anybody else have any?
Does she have any competition?
Well, she doesn't have competition. Look at her. Is there any competition?
I wanted to suggest Stacy, but I'm glad you
No,
volunteered.
she's gonna be a great choice. That was kind of a no-brainer, but I'd still had to put it out for everybody in case you were so inclined. So with that being said, I need a motion to appoint Stacy as vice chair.
I'll make a motion.
All right?
I'll second.
There you go.
Whoa.
All right,
That's
so
side
Wendy
over there.
motioned and Tracy seconded.
Yeah.
She,
All in favor of Stacy being our vice chair?
Aye.
All right, unanimously approved. Congratulations. You are now the vice chair.
I think we should have boy,
Thank you,
girl,
Dean.
boy, girl. I mean, it's kind of like us against them, don't you?
It is. But we're all friends here. We're gender neutral these days, so.
Sorry, we're having too much fun
I'm
over
sorry,
here.
I'm not on your.
Hey,
side.
it's kind of nice to come to a fun board meeting, right?
It should be fun. It should be. We get
That's
things
all.
done.
Although we are being recorded, just so you know.
the only reason I'm here, y'all. To make-
That being said, all right, at this time, we have something really, really important to discuss. And I'm really excited to hear all about it. Tony, let's talk about the community pool capital improvement project.
Thank you. Good evening again. So we have a really good and exciting opportunity to improve our community pool here in town. As many of you guys know, it was built and constructed in 2003, so it's been a little while. Then we have our splash pad addition, and along with our parking lot addition that came along in 2011. But since then, a lot of Band-Aids have been put on, and mechanical issues, facelifts, aesthetically not pleasing areas and whatnot. So staff has done a wonderful job with the maintenance and preventative maintenance of the pool over the years. However, you do reach a point in time where you may have to make a decision on how we're going to move forward and what's best for our community and whatnot. So we have a great opportunity to spend up to $4 million of bond funds. And here's, as you can see, is our beautiful community pool, nice and clean, thanks to Tim. And these awesome pictures, by the way, I have to brag, this is Daniel as well. He took out the drone. He was gutsy enough to take it out the other day, and so took out some amazing pictures of the pool. So thought I'd throw that in there. So we have a good opportunity to improve our pump rooms and make it a little bit easier for our staff to work on during the pool season. This is our pump rooms now. As you can see, the picture at the top is our competition pump room. A lot of those components there have gone obsolete, meaning if they were to go down and malfunction, we cannot replace them. A lot of them are not even functioning. And another good reason to improve the facility is to be in compliance, right, with ADA compliance, so make sure that we're always safe there. We do have the pump room from the splash pad at the bottom. Those are all the original components as well. So why am I bringing all this up? So we have the opportunity to upgrade every single component from the pool pump rooms this season before the pool season opens, okay? That would be what we would consider phase one. I would need direction from our park board tonight to take this for final approval to our council in the near future.
And Tony, what does phase one cost?
I don't have that number quite yet. My direction, very firm direction, was not to exceed the allotted funds that I was given to make these improvements. I do have Mr. David McCaskill. He's the gentleman I've been working with closely with Half and Associates. So he's helping us with all the renderings and all the strategic planning moving forward. So he's reassured me that we will not be exceeding those funds. So while at the same time talking with my team, making sure that they have what they need to make these improvements moving forward, and they best suit what the pool needs, okay? Both facilities, by the way.
So you don't have a number not to exceed?
I do. It's $4 million.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
But the $4 million doesn't just cover the pump room.
It does not just cover the pump rooms. It does cover the least majority of it. So in other words, what I'll present to you next, it'll give you a better idea of what all encompasses on those funds. So the $4 million, what we are planning on doing is to construct over on the top monitor is a party room, a 40 by 40 party room with climate control. It will have some cooking elements there for any birthday parties or any type of party that we want to rent them out to. It will have restrooms, and it's big enough for yoga, if we wanted to do yoga in the off-season or any type of other classes. So that kind of all of a sudden opens up a lot of opportunities for us as a department. It will have a roll-up door, kind of like what you see at restaurants, you know, where one side of the building kind of lifts up or kind of rows, it has accordion doors, so that'll look kind of neat. I think Blue 22 has those, if I'm not mistaken. Another cool feature about the party room, it would have a covered porch with some fans and picnic tables. So if Tim gets a request for a party room or a birthday party, or two birthday parties, he can now rent the party room inside or rent the porch itself as well, and we can have two parties going on at the same time. So, or maybe they want to rent the whole thing. So that's pretty exciting. We have the slide over to the left. It's what's considered a double barrel slide, I believe, what Tim mentioned the other day. So in order for us to do that, we would have to convert the kiddie pool into a plunge pool. Another neat feature about that is that we can host classes in the plunge pool now if we want to target either kids or seniors as well. So there's kind of killing two birds with one stone there as well. So there's that. One of the major components that we have to, without a doubt, improve is the roof on both pump rooms. Right now, when it rains, all the water gets inside those elements and getting them wet and aging them a little bit quicker and become brittle. So constructing a metal roof on top of both pump rooms. So, and over to the right, you have the splash pad. The splash pad, you have another pavilion that we're proposing. That's that rectangle you see at the bottom there. So you'll have a shaded area. Again, if we wanted to lease out the area for a birthday party, we'd be able to do so as well. And another piece of this, phase one, would be updating our splash pad features, and that means it would consider repainting all of them and throwing on a new coat of polyurethane to make them last several more years as well. So, and then of course there's some odds and ends here and there that this would encompass. So we couldn't be any more excited to move forward with this project. There's some landscape features as well that we are going to improve on. That's pretty much everything that we have at the moment.
How many phases are there?
Only two. So this first phase would be the improvement of the pump rooms and the splash pad features. We've been told that it would be finished before this pool season. Next season in 2023, the rest of what you see up there and I mentioned would be done immediately after the pool closes and be done before 2024.
What's the capacity of the party room?
It's a 40 by 40 right now. That's being proposed. I don't know, I'm not sure what the capacity would be on that.
And it can be fully enclosed with one side opening
That's
up.
correct. Yes, ma'am.
And when you refer to the cooking equipment, what type of cooking
We
equipment?
haven't gotten that detailed yet on this, so it would be minimal. It wouldn't be like a full-blown kitchen or anything, but it would be a minimal, small kitchen for someone to heat up some food and whatnot, maybe a microwave, but that's probably the extent of it, and then restrooms as well. And it would be climate controlled.
Would we have the ability to utilize that room on off-season? Like we talked about before,
Yes,
there's
ma'am.
nowhere to do a birthday party or anything. That would be,
Absolutely, yes. Again, Tim's come up with some good ideas on how to utilize this party room during the off-season. During the season, it's a no-brainer. It's going to
Yeah.
be, this thing's going to get rented nonstop, right? But even during the off-season classes, and meeting those expectations that we've received from the citizen survey a couple years ago as well, right? So that's the intention here, for sure. Yeah, both Sumner and Tim have come up with some pretty good ideas on how to move forward with this project. And yeah, I couldn't be happier. And David's doing a really good job as well, keeping me updated on all this good stuff. So to answer, I think it was your question on we would not exceed those funds with this project.
Is one company doing everything, or this is different companies doing different things?
Did you get that? Is it one company? He wants,
Well, from the design side, there'll be one company. We've got two different sub-consultants that'll be working with us. We've got an architect, and then we've got Councilman Hunsaker, which is an aquatic consultant. That's all they do is aquatic projects. And then as far as the construction side of it, we're gonna have to be real creative on the construction side, because obviously, we're in November now, or getting almost into November. If you wanna have the pool open, in Memorial Day of '23, we're gonna have to be creative of how we do that. We're probably gonna go through a buying cooperative called the Buy Board to select the contractor to do the work in the pump rooms. Because if we have to go out with a bid period, which typically takes about 2 months, we're not gonna have it finished in time for pool season. So we've gotta be creative because of the short amount of time we've got to A, to design it, and B, to get it built. So we've gotta figure out ways to shorten the period. So we'll probably have one consultant or one contractor do the pump room work. That same contractor will probably be the same contractor that would actually install the slide towers in phase 2. So, but then we'd probably hire a general contractor or go through the bidding process to get a general contractor to do all the rest of the work.
So I lived through the first park bond, for those of you who were here then. And I gotta tell you, there was a lot of moving parts and a lot of meetings and a lot of cost overruns and a lot of cutting things because we all thought a certain amount of money would go. That's why we only have 3 baseball fields instead of 4. Because it is what it is. So my only thinking would be, I get the whole phase 1, phase 2, but it seems to me we need to put a number to each component and prioritize them. Tony, you've probably already done this, but I would think when you go in front of council, you have a number in mind for each of the pieces with a contingency plan that says, if we get the 4 million hard stop, these 3 things go away. Because I think that's gonna be critical, because you're talking about money over 2 years. With inflation, who knows what it's gonna cost to build something in 2023 or 2024 or whatever.
so my plan is to, great questions. My plan is to address this at the next council meeting. I will have all those numbers in place for them. And once this is approved, David's going to go ahead and get started on locking all those construction contractors in place. And then just that way, they're, like you said, lock them in place. That way, there's no inflation fees or anything that they'll come back and increase their bids, right? So that would not exist. We'll lock those folks in place and make sure that we start doing a timeline and start going at it right after council approves this project.
I just think you need something that these three things can go if they have to, because I think the pump room is a no-brainer, right? That makes,
Right.
you start with the most important thing you have to have, and then go from there, because, you know, 4 million doesn't seem like enough to me, and I don't know anything about anything, but that seems like it's pretty tight on what you just showed us.
Right.
I have a question. So if you are starting soon and you want to be ready for 23, do you have a contingency plan if it doesn't all follow the timeline? You have community members that bank on that pool, and based on this last summer, they may eat you alive if they can't get access to this pool. So what's the contingency if you can't get this pool ready to go?
Well, the plan is to start right here at this pump room and then moving here at the same time, right? So we've already met, or David has already met with our vendor, and they have all these components in place in stock, and they're just ready for us to give them the green light, okay? So we also met with the contractor that's going to install these components, which is the same vendor that has them in stock. So that's a big plus for us. So we feel very confident that we can open in time for 2023 season. The contingency, well, it would be us having to delay the pool opening, but I don't see that happening at all. We have swim team also that we have to consider, and we have all sorts of, like you said, expectations that we need to meet. So I'll make sure that we meet those.
The other question I have is, with the party room, will there be a discount on rental fees to Trophy Club residents versus a non-resident? Say someone from Roanoke wants to rent it.
Maybe. We haven't gotten that far yet. We really haven't. So maybe
That could
that's
be an
once this is
incentive for your Trophy Club resident.
correct. Absolutely. Yes.
I think what we're just deciding tonight is to take this to council, correct?
Yes. I just need direction, and to echo what David said, we're running a little bit, our time's ticking. So I really need that direction. I'm taking it to council, but I would like some direction to take him to move forward.
Well, do the voters have to vote? You said a bond.
The bond's been set. I believe it was a general obligations bond, so it's been.
It's already been passed?
Yeah, it's about 2 years old, I believe, or maybe less. So that's in place. It's ready to go.
So it's just council approval, and then you go.
That's correct.
The
Yes.
bond was for anything or for the pool?
It was for improvements of the town. So this was,
Anything could have been improved in a
Right.
pickleball court, whatever, correct? Just say, it could have been anything. Your house.
Will this, or how will this affect the cost of entry?
again, haven't really decided that yet, right? I don't know. I know that we haven't increased fees in some years, several years, and I have a breakdown of all of the revenues that we've brought in the past 5 or 6 years, I believe. So I can present those at the next council or park board meeting. But at the moment, I haven't thought that far ahead yet.
Well, I mean, anytime you do an improvements and then you couple it with inflation, I think we're expecting that rates are going to go up.
Yes,
But is
ma'am.
it exponentially going to go up? And then also, are we still Trophy Club only? Are we allowing outside?
Yes, ma'am.
Will we reconsider maybe doing, we talked about doing a deal with Roanoke where it was like, we can go to your pool and you can come to ours, or maybe even open it up just around. And if we're going to do these fantastic improvements, we might consider opening it up to not just Trophy Club residents. I used to live there. And then when Hurricane, Hawaiian Falls opened up, peaced out. All the bigger kids left.
Right.
Which was great and also bad, because now the pool is available, it was a ghost town.
Right.
And you could go as a resident and you could be there alone, but that's not a moneymaker. So we got.
Yeah, I brought this to council, I believe less than a year ago, maybe just a little bit over. What the pool, the intentions of the pool is to offer a program or a amenity to our residents. we understand that it's not going to offset cost as far as the maintenance goes. Our entry fees will never be able to do that, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't increase the fees. I just don't know how much, what that percentage would look like, or if we would even do it at all, right? So that's something that still would require a schedule fee amendment, and it still would have to pass through council. So I haven't gone that far yet, but I hear you loud and clear.
Well, I'm just thinking, something to
Absolutely.
consider is if we have this amazing thing and 10% of the town utilizes it, let's open it up to some other people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everybody's
Sure.
got a pool that lives here or whatever, you know, and if we're not going enough because my kids are grown and whatever,
Right.
then let's get some people in here that are gonna use it and help people.
Okay, so that's probably a whole nother thing to discuss at a whole nother time.
Probably so.
Dealing with the rates. I will just say this. I've heard, first of all, the pool is how many years old?
Approximately, it's going on 25, just under
Okay.
25 years
The
old.
fact that it's made it 25 years is already a testament to the people taking care of it, because I can't even imagine it would go that far. So the pump room component of it is an absolute no-brainer. The additional amenities, I think, is also warranted, because our pool doesn't hold up to other communities, I promise you, when you look at what
That's
other
right.
communities have. And I've heard that complaint a number of times, that the splash pad is, if you got 2, 3-year-olds, that's great, but my 10-year-old doesn't want to go play in that, so they're going to go to Hawaiian Falls or whatever. I think you need to let the town do, and you won't notice the real improvements till phase 2, right? But I think at that point, you will judge the rates and all that based on who shows up.
Oh, I totally get it, but that's
Those
gonna be a
slides
question.
could change everything, and now you have to raise rates. It's just,
I agree, but that's
Yeah.
gonna be the first question out of everybody's mouth.
Oh, yeah,
How
for
much
sure.
is this gonna cost me now? Because that's our town.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
something to think about.
but I think tonight, we just want to figure out, I believe that this is great use of $4 million. I think this is a necessary thing, and this extends its life another 25 years. I won't even be here for the next round of improvement. But I think it's something, and if you all agree, we need to make a motion, or we don't need to make a motion, what do we need to do?
Yes. Just
And the motion needs to
take it to council.
let the park director take the capital improvement project, present to town council, with the idea that you will definitely want to show up with some figures
Absolutely.
and numbers, kind of thing. So,
Before you do that, are this 1.1 million for phase 1 and 2.8 million for phase 2, are those approximate?
Those are approximate numbers, yes.
with the hard number
Only.
for,
Yes. Not to exceed.
Okay, so what if they come back and say, we'll do phase 1, but we don't like phase 2? Is that even an option, or?
It wouldn't be an option, because the plan is to lock everything now, do contracts now, and lock those dates in at the moment. So as soon as I get the okay from our council, then I'll get with David and get the ball rolling.
Okay, so I guess my follow-up question is, what if council says, yeah, no, we're not doing that? Is there an opportunity for you to go, well, we really at least need to do this? Because this is a maintenance thing, it's important. If that stuff breaks in the middle of the season, we're done.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, that's true, yes. And that's why we're doing phase 1 the way we're doing it, is because we need to really prioritize this project. I wish we could do it all, right? But
No,
then
I hear you.
at the same time-
I love the idea.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of thinking about opposition and how to combat it up front.
Absolutely. I think the council will understand that phase 1, all of it needs to be done. But phase 1 being the most important, so we'll get that knocked out.
I'd like to make a motion to take this to council for
Second.
approval.
Second?
all in favor?
Thank you.
I just have one last question. Is that 4 million the total, is there more monies beyond 4 million, or is that the total amount?
There was more, but it was used for other projects.
Oh, it's been
Yeah,
earmarked.
I
for
don't
other-
have that information.
No, I was just
Sorry.
curious if it was
Yeah.
part of a bigger,
So not to exceed 4 million.
Yes.
and you're doing it, right? You're gonna bring down to 4 million.
You're coming under budget,
If I
right?
don't- If I don't, I won't come back here and see y'all. No,
All
yeah.
right, well, you know this is recorded, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I don't know that we have anything else to talk about tonight.
You want to bring up future items?
Okay, so we should talk about future items now that we have. Yeah, one thing I want to bring, I would like to add to a future item, and I don't know how we would put it into the agenda, but I want to take a look at the revenues that came out of Trophy Cup Park this season. Only with the idea, and then maybe year over year, Sumner, like how it's improved. And no, I mean, not during COVID, obviously, but maybe what it looked like 19 to now. Because I think one of the things town would like to do is figure out how we can better monetize Trophy Cup Park. And I think it'd be open for discussion about things we can do there. Like you said, passes for town residents, we can look at some of those things and discuss. Because
Patrick has 1,000 ideas.
yeah, and I think that we should put some of those ideas together. And, you know, there's a lot of things going on too out there. New road and new equipment and stuff like that. It'd just be interesting to have a conversation all about Trophy Cup Park. Of course.
Yeah, there's just untapped potential. out
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Incredible. You go to a place like Meadowmere and Grapevine or something like that, and you think, holy cow, we have that in our backyard, basically.
And I know there's a master plan that was created way back in the day and a lot of things that happened. And is our lease coming up on that park? When does that happen?
It's up in 2027, so,
I thought we renewed it.
I'm sorry?
I thought we had renewed it.
Not yet. We're still working with the Corps to see what we can do to, move forward with that.
So that's a whole nother,
That's a whole up, yeah.
that's a whole nother thing, just to get that pushed across the goal line, right?
Speaking of Trophy Club Park, have there been new maps made to go into the big?
We have a guy,
Uh-huh.
make new maps, he's right there,
Those
Yeah,
maps
not-
are
They
outdated.
have not been updated yet, but.
right there, he's your graphics design guy.
Clean and
On the
crisp.
maps.
Agree. And a drone.
The
Yeah.
drone.
Yeah, and drone.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a marketing potential here that
Absolutely.
could
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
put Trophy Club Park on the map a little bit more to our residents,
Yeah. no.
especially with someone that has some,
Some skills.
Talent.
There was some good-
Talent.
A new map at Trophy Club Park has been brought up to us before. and we're-
yeah, those.
But I like the idea of bringing your
Yeah.
drone out there, you can drone it
Actually,
up. and-
you know, the map's a great idea, but as far as like advertising and stuff, you did a lot of good work with the film team. They did some cool stuff. I don't know if you've seen those videos.
The videos.
Horseback and stuff.
Yeah.
So we've, the park is, the low spot of the park was the flood, right? And bad things happened, and we had a lot of great plans right ahead of that, and everything kind of got literally washed away. So now, looking at the park, I was pleasantly surprised, you know, the road and some stuff that's happening, and I think that it's time to revisit it and put some thought as to what we can do to bring more people there.
Absolutely.
Because the town needs it, not just for the park, but you gotta appreciate that when people come to that park, they eat pizza, they go to Tom Thumb, they buy gas, they, you know, whatever, and all that's tax revenue for the town as well when they, sales tax. So I think the more people you can bring in using the park from the outside, and that is an area where you definitely want the outside people coming in.
Well, and the events, they
the
stay in our
events.
hotels, they eat our
Yeah,
food,
all
blah,
that
blah.
stuff,
I mean,
yeah.
we could do four BMX events a year back there.
And we have a lot of untapped potential out
There was
there.
a lot. I don't know if that's been quantified, what the impact of the last year's torn race was, but I know that there was a lot of hotel and restaurant spike from that.
Yeah, we'll work on some advertising for sure. We definitely want to get closer, and when when Daniel and Cassidy go out and meet our businesses owners or the representatives, they're going to hit up the hotels. So one of the things we didn't really discuss, it's not just the food industry that we're going to target, right? We're going to do the hotels, doctor's offices, chiropractors, you name it, right? Tom Thumb. So it's going to be everyone across the board. And believe it or not, for being a small community, we have a lot of businesses here in town. So, yeah, we have that list. And so they've been doing a fantastic job. They're running at about 300 miles an hour. I am not going to get in their way. So they're doing a phenomenal job, and I know they'll execute it well.
And I could take up a few hours talking about the park. It's awesome back there, and y'all's team does an awesome job keeping it up, and just the potential's incredible. I mean, it connects to, I've hiked from my front door to Meadowmere Park in Grapevine. That was 9 miles. It took me like 3 hours or something. A little hard to navigate. I was
Little
had my
bit.
phone and two
May have
or
did
three
that
apps
myself.
going at once and got
Wasn't
lost a
sure
few
where the
times.
horse trail was versus pedestrian.
Apologize to some horse riders a few
Whoopsie.
times. But anyways, I mean, you know, is there potential to get the different parks, the towns talking to have something, you know, connected like that and maps and lots of potential.
So what do we want to call the item?
So I have a trail master plan that I worked on about 3 years ago. Let me present that to you guys next.
Let's review the
next meeting.
master plan.
It's very well put together, and I believe it came from Tignon Perkins, I believe, don't quote me on that, but let me present that to you guys and to show you how we can connect just the trails here in Trophy Club and make it more interesting for our residents, for sure.
And then Sumner, you can bring some numbers together for us.
Yes, I can.
All right, that'd be great. Is there anything else we want to talk about in the future? So, obviously, communication, everybody, if there's agenda items that you want to get brought up, get with Tony, CC me, whatever, and we can certainly put it on here. Like I said, if we have things to talk about, we should all get together and, you know, talk about it and solve some problems. Before we close, I just want to say one thing, because, I want to go on record with this. I've been in these meetings where this place is full, and they're standing out in the hallways, and they're angry. Because they're unhappy with the way the Parks Department's running or doing things in the town. And I will say, if you take that logic and you look at this room tonight, and the fact that nobody's in this room says that the town's Parks Department is doing a great job. Because if you weren't, these townspeople have no problem coming and letting us know what they think. So I just want to give it up to you guys. I really appreciate the hard work that the Parks does in this town.
Yeah, I'll second that, Dean. I said it once, many times, and I'll say it again, you know, a lot of times, park staff is kind of unsung heroes. You know, our police and fire get a lot of recognition, as they should, but you guys are out late on weekends, away from family, a lot too, just to enable everybody to have a good time, and it's very much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
All
We
right.
appreciate that.
Hey,
Do you guys want to, before you close, do you got it in January? You want to make it our next meeting?
Oh, let's do
Because of the
that.
holidays?
Yeah, let's
We had done January 16th, when we met back in April.
It's a holiday.
Okay.
What holiday?
Yeah, you're gonna be busy putting together the capital improvements project, probably. So we should have, and December is just a bad month to do this, so maybe by January we'll have some feedback on capital improvements.
Wanna
And
do
then
the
we can
16th?
get our time to get our numbers together, how the year ended, maybe in January, we could pull together how the year
Yeah, and
ended
get you
up.
a full year report.
Yeah, I like full year better than we still got 2 months left to go, and
Yeah.
we don't know how it's gonna end up. So do you wanna do that January?
Yeah.
Do we have a date in January then?
16th?
It's Martin Luther King Day. Is that a holiday?
They have now made that a holiday.
I think that's a
It is a
It
federal
is.
holiday.
It-
And
that
so is my
recently just-
birthday.
Aw,
Yeah, Juneteenth is a federal holiday for
Wait,
Jim Murray.
will the party room be built? Here we go.
Not-
That's
not-
where we need to have our
2024.
meeting.
All right, so January.
You want to do the 23rd?
23rd or the 9th? Does the 9th work? Is that a conflict?
I think people may be still a little tired from the holidays. You
All
think?
right, let's do 23rd. Does that work for everybody?
It
January
works.
You bet.
Let's hope I don't show up early.
23rd? All right, so let's put together as much as we can on TrophyClub Park, so we have it'll be a good discussion, and we can talk about where to go next. And then hopefully you're gonna have some really good news for us on the capital improvements project.
Yeah, just real quick on that. Phase 1, start to finish, what's the expected timeline?
David?
So, if everything goes smoothly with council, we expect the notice to proceed for us to start doing our design work toward the end of November, so that we'll have the month of November and probably the month of January to get our construction drawings done. We anticipate bringing on the buy-board contractor probably in December, maybe 1st of January, so that they can start pre-ordering, so that we can get around all the supply chain issues and all of that to get the equipment shipped So we would anticipate our drawings being finished by January, then have, probably start construction, March or February, and then February, March, April, and then Memorial Day in May, so. And then as we're doing phase one, we will also be working on the design for phase two. So we anticipate having this phase two design done probably April-ish, so that we can bid that out May and June and be ready to start construction, starting end of August when your swim season ends. So that we can then move through the late summer, early fall, and winter to get as much as we can get done by the end of the, our goal is to have everything finished by the end of the year of '23.
23.
So question for you, do you think having drawings released in January is realistic? I know in my industry, people start really fading out between the holidays, and December gets to be pretty rough with, you know, leave and.
Well, the team that we've got in place, I've already told them, this is when you're gonna have to have everything done, and nobody said, no, we can't do that. So our aquatic consultant is aware that the goal is to have drawings to Sunbelt Pools, the five-board contractor, by the end of January, 1st of February. So you are correct, a lot of people start fading away, but we've already made the commitment to Tony that we're gonna meet that deadline, because the last thing we wanna do is what Wendy was talking about, is not have a pool open in May.
So the stuff, even in like in the pump room, that's not like off-the-shelf things, you know what I mean? It has to be engineered. And I sure hope we don't have.
More the piping, the
Wow.
equipment is all pretty much somewhat standard equipment, but it's all of the piping and also, as Tony mentioned, we've got some ADA issues in those areas that we've got to address.
I only say that because obviously timing is of the essence. You getting in front of council, getting approval and getting started
Absolutely.
yesterday. I
I'm
mean,
nervous, but
yeah.
I'm cautiously, I'm optimistic, and well, I already said on record that we're gonna be finished and ready to go.
All right, so knowing my town council the way I do, the better you have your numbers all together, the faster this thing gets approved. You can't go in there and spitball with these guys, so sharpen that pencil and have your numbers ready, because they're gonna ask.
And we've done some preliminary numbers, and we've got a pretty fat contingency in there to cover ourselves. And then, just so, and I don't know if Tony mentioned this, the $4 million includes soft costs, which includes our design fee, so that's a project cost. That's construction, design, all of that's included in that $4 million. So, yeah, no, we'll have something for Wendy and her kids to use.
I would just hate to see this get tabled on you for the next meeting, and then you lose a whole nother 30 days.
And
Just-
the equipment is all available and allocated, and we know where it is and all that. I just put in a poll, and that was
Yes.
hairy.
Yeah, like I said, we've had a lot of conversations over the last couple of months acquiring about that very issue, and we've been assured by the manufacturers and by the contractor that we can meet that date.
They don't want Wendy coming after them.
Yeah, don't make me send Wendy over.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am mean.
We got some power on this side of the.
Don't make the mommies mad.
Never.
Just telling you,
Upset the mama bear.
don't make the mommies mad.
David understands the expectations and his team as well. So please rest assured, you mentioned having a great team with the Parks and Rec Department. So we have several project managers on this panel that will make sure that we finish on time in addition to David's commitment. So rest assured that we'll have it open by then, right? Yeah, we just ask that you guys just let us do our thing, and we'll get it done. Yeah,
We're not going to stand in your way.
thank you very much.
We're-
Make it
No,
happen.
in fact, all of this is just an attempt to help.
I appreciate it. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
I think with that, we're good. I would like to adjourn our meeting, and I would appreciate everybody for being here. And we'll see you all in January.
Meeting's adjourned.
8:31.
Yeah.
is when we